Welcome back to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
Usually, we're wading through a stack of investigative journalism or tearing apart some new nonfiction bestseller to find the takeaways for you.
Right.
But today's a bit different. We aren't decoding a text. We're actually decoding a human being.
Yeah, a complete pivot for us.
It really is. We are looking at a specific birth chart, a soul map, really, for a woman born on November 4th, 1970, at 7:20 p.m. in Tucson, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And the mission today is to answer some pretty heavy questions. Why is she the way she is?
Mm-hmm.
What is her actual purpose here? And how does a person with this specific wiring find peace?
Honestly, when I first looked at this chart, I had to just sit back for a second.
Yes, tense, right?
Beyond intense. We aren't just looking at a list of star signs or some daily horoscope here. This is a blueprint of a very complex psychological architecture.
Yeah.
It's a chart defined by this incredible, almost overwhelming intensity, a relentless drive to be of service, and a massive internal tug of war that I suspect defines almost every single day of her life.
I was looking over the prep notes, and the headlines for this personality are just screaming at me. It feels like a movie character.
Totally.
You have this chameleon exterior that's the Gemini rising, which is hiding this powerhouse interior. Right. And then this massive concentration of energy, a stellium in Scorpio, plus a lifelong battle between wanting to do it all and this desperate need to just be alone.
That is the perfect summary. It's a chart of massive contradictions. You have the light social butterfly on the surface.
The mask.
Exactly, the mask. And then a deep, brooding ancient philosopher in the basement. Our goal today is to explain the mechanics of that machine. Look at the why, and then look at the roadmap for clearing her specific blockages, because there are some significant roadblocks here.
Okay, let's unpack this. I want to start with the face she shows the world. The very first thing people see.
The ascendant.
Right. The ascendant or rising sign is in Gemini.
Yeah.
Now, I know enough about pop astrology to know that Gemini is usually the life of the party, chatty, versatile.
That's the first impression. With Gemini rising, she walks into a room and she appears, curious, adaptable.
A person who can talk to anyone.
Oh, absolutely. She can talk to the CEO and the janitor with equal ease. She's a messenger. She loves information. If you met her at a dinner party, you'd think, wow, she is so light, so interested in everything.
The classic social chameleon.
Exactly. She can do everything. In fact, she might struggle to choose just one thing because her interests are so scattered. But, and this is the biggest but in the entire chart.
Here we go.
The rising sign is just the lobby of the building. It's the receptionist. To understand who actually owns the building, you have to look at the landlord, the planet that rules that ascendant sign.
Okay.
And for Gemini, that ruler is Mercury.
Okay, I'm with you. So the receptionist is Gemini, charming and chatty. Where is the landlord? Where is Mercury hiding in this map?
The landlord is not breezing through an airy, light social club. Mercury is in Scorpio.
Oh, wow.
And it is buried deep in the 6th house.
Scorpio. That feels like a thriller movie twist. That changes the vibe completely, doesn't it?
It completely flips the script. Think of it this way. Most Gemini risings are broadcasters. They just want to share what they know.
But she's not.
No, she is a detective.
Right.
With Mercury in Scorpio, she isn't chatting for fun. She is investigating. She acts with emotional intensity and this purposeful secrecy.
So she's moving behind the scenes.
Doing behind the scenes, exactly. So while she might be nodding and smiling at that dinner party, her mind is surgical. She is analyzing you. She's figuring out your secrets, your motivations, and how to fix the dynamic.
That is such a specific combination. It's like a spy who works as a stand-up comic or something.
That's a great way to put it.
The exterior says, I'm open and adaptable. But the internal operating system is, I see everything, I'm analyzing the data, and I'm going to transform this situation.
Precisely. And location matters here. Because that Mercury is in the 6th house, she isn't analyzing just to be nosy or manipulative.
The 6th house is, wait, that's work, right?
Yes. Meaningful work. It's about being useful. Service. She defines herself through service. She wants to improve the system. So she uses that X-ray Scorpio vision to figure out exactly what is broken so she can fix it.
Okay, let's talk about that need to fix things, because that leads us right into the engine room of this chart. We mentioned Mercury is in the 6th house in Scorpio, but it's not alone there, is it?
Oh, not even close. It is a packed house.
Right.
This is what astrologers call a stellium, a massive cluster of planets all sort of shouting over each other. In the 6th house, in the sign of Scorpio, she has the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune.
Wow. 5 planets.
Yeah.
It's half the solar system sitting in one tiny office.
It's a massive concentration of gravity. It means almost all her psychic energy is focused on one single area of life.
So let's break that down for the listener. We know the Scorpio filter. Intense, transformative, all or nothing. And we know the sixth house is about service, health, daily routines, the daily grind. What happens when you put the sun, which is her identity, and Jupiter, her luck, and Venus, her love language, all in the work bucket?
It creates someone who physically cannot separate their identity from their utility.
They have to be useful.
It's almost impossible for her not to be. She defines herself through capability. She finds purpose. Literally, her sun shines only when she is the one improving the system. She is likely the person holding everything together with this quiet strength.
That sounds incredibly productive, but also, kind of exhausting. Does she ever clock out?
Mentally, probably never.
Yeah.
With Jupiter there, she has this boundless optimism about how much she can handle. She probably thinks, I can fix this and that over there too.
Right.
And with Venus there, she might actually find love through her work. Or, and this is a common trap, she approaches her relationships as projects.
Oh no, the classic, I can fix him energy.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Or simply, I show my love by being intensely useful to you. If she isn't helping, fixing, or refining, she likely feels like she doesn't exist. Her worth is entirely tied to her output.
But then you have Neptune sitting there in the mix too. And Neptune is the planet of dreams, spirituality, right? But also illusions.
Yes, and that adds a really complicated, foggy layer to this high-functioning machine. Neptune, in the sixth house, infuses her work with spiritual purpose. She doesn't just want to file papers or organize a team. She wants to heal the organization.
She wants to be a savior.
Exactly. But the shadow side of Neptune is a total lack of boundaries.
Boundaries seem like they'd be critical for someone with this much drive.
They are critical, and she probably struggles immensely with them. Neptune dissolves lines, so she might not know where her responsibilities end and someone else's begin.
So she takes on everything.
She might feel called to serve others to the point of confusion or severe sacrifice. She's the one staying late every single night, not just because she's ambitious, but because she feels a spiritual weight. A guilt if she leaves the mess unfinished. She is very prone to martyrdom in the workplace.
Okay, so we have a Gemini mask hiding a Scorpio workhorse who is arguably obsessed with fixing everything and everyone to the point of self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's a day job.
Right.
Let's look at the night shift. Let's move to the emotional landscape. Where is her moon?
Her moon is in Capricorn, situated in the 8th house.
Capricorn moon. That sounds serious. Capricorn is the CEO, the stern authority figure, right?
It is a very heavy, sober placement for the moon. The moon represents our inner child, what makes us feel safe and nurtured.
Okay.
With the moon in Capricorn, she doesn't find safety in hugs and emotional reassurance. She sees safety in being useful to society.
Again, with the utility.
Exactly. We're seeing this theme repeat. She looks for justification in the outside world to feel okay on the inside.
That's kind of heartbreaking in a way. It's like, I'm only allowed to feel safe if I'm achieving something tangible.
It's a rigorous emotional standard to live by. She might become shy or even deeply resentful if she feels ignored or unappreciated for her competence. But here is the kicker. It's in the 8th house.
The 8th house. That's the Scorpio house again, isn't it? The house of deep secrets, death, rebirth, taxes.
It is the house of deep ancestral feeling and psychological depth. So she has this Capricorn need for control and stoicism, but it's swimming in the turbulent, deep waters of the 8th house. She experiences emotions with massive tidal wave intensity.
But she doesn't show it.
No, she keeps them intensely private.
So on the outside, she's a curious Gemini. At work, she's this intense Scorpio fixer. But emotionally?
Emotionally, she is a fortress, a complete vault. She requires deep, transformative relationships to feel safe, but she likely keeps her true feelings completely unconscious or hidden away.
Interesting.
She doesn't just want a partner, she wants a soul bond. But because of that Capricorn influence, she likely underestimates her own needs because she's so fiercely focused on duty. She puts her feelings in a box, locks the box, and goes back to work.
Which brings us to the central conflict. I was reading the analysis of the aspects and the sources, and there is a massive red line drawn right across this chart, an opposition. And this really feels like the plot twist of her life.
This is the defining psychological struggle. Honestly, if you understand this opposition, you understand her.
Let's lay it out.
On one side, we have that massive Scorpio stellium we was talked about in the 6th house. The drive to work, serve, fix, and be visible through competence. The doer.
And on the other side, who is pulling the rope in the other direction?
Standing all alone in the 12th house, in the sign of Taurus is Saturn, and it's retrograde.
Okay, Saturn is the taskmaster, the planet of restriction and rules. What is it doing in the 12th house?
The 12th house is the realm of solitude, the subconscious hidden things, institutions, and self-undoing. It's the monastery and the prison.
Wow.
Having Saturn here suggests an inner world marked by introspection, but also deep hidden fears. It suggests she carries emotional burdens silently.
So picture this tug of war for a second. The 6th house is screaming, go to work, be useful, fix the details, people are counting on you. And the 12th house is whispering what?
The 12th house is whispering, I need to be alone. I am carrying the weight of the world. I am afraid of what's in the dark. It's a fundamental conflict between the drive for growth and service, represented by the Sun and Jupiter in the 6th, and the pull of hidden responsibility or fear, represented by Saturn.
What does that struggle feel like to her, say, on a random Tuesday afternoon?
It feels like burnout, deep soul-level burnout. The Sun opposition Saturn aspect creates a massive tension between what she wants to do and what she feels she absolutely must do.
Like an obligation.
She likely feels she must sacrifice herself for the work just to keep the bad things at bay. And look at the Venus opposition Saturn aspect. That suggests she might equate love with responsibility.
That is heavy. So she literally thinks love means taking on someone else's burden.
Exactly. If I love you, I carry your rock. She struggles with the fear of vulnerability versus the need for closeness. So her core blockage is essentially that she works herself to the bone in the 6th house to avoid facing the deep, solitary, psychological weight she is carrying in the 12th house.
So the work is an escape.
Yes. Saturn in the 12th is often called the silent sufferer. She suffers in silence while fixing everyone else's problems.
That really lands. She works to avoid facing the solitude. It's like she's running on a treadmill because she's terrified of what happens if she actually stops.
Exactly.
So if that's the trap, where is the exit? Where is she supposed to go? What is her soul's purpose in this lifetime, based on the chart?
To find that, we look at the North Node and the MC, or midheaven. In this chart, they are conjunct. They're joined at the hip in the sign of Aquarius up in the 10th house.
Okay, let's break that down for everyone listening. 10th house is career, status, public life. And Aquarius is the rebel, the visionary, the futurist.
Correct. Her comfort zone, her South Node, is likely in the 4th house, focusing on private life or family dramas. But her destination, the North Node, is Aquarius in the 10th. She needs to be without prejudices. She wants truth. She wants to disrupt old traditions and replace them with new ways.
So she isn't just supposed to be a worker bee in the 6th house forever. She's not just the cosmic janitor.
No, that is the trap. The 6th house is about maintaining the system. The 10th house in Aquarius is about revolutionizing the system.
Oh, I see.
Her purpose is to move from being the fixer of tiny details to the visionary leader. She is meant to have a career in something innovative, technology, humanitarian work, social reform. But from a leadership position, not a service position, she needs to stop patching the tire and invent a totally new wheel.
There was a note in the sources about a node square Neptune. That sounds like a warning sign on the road.
It is the caution tape. Node square Neptune warns her against getting lost in idealism. Because she has so much Scorpio and Neptune energy, she can get dreamy or even delusional about her goals.
So she needs to stay grounded.
Yes, the square tells her. Ground your spiritual vision in reality. Don't just dream of a better world. Build the actual structure for it. Her path is to take that deep investigative Scorpio insight and use it to disrupt the status quo on a very public stage.
I love that evolution. Moving from the servant to the architect.
That is the perfect metaphor. The servant asks, how can I help you? The architect asks, how can we build this better for everyone?
Okay, so we know the struggle, we know the destination, but how does she actually get there? How does she clear these blockages? Because that Saturn opposition is no joke. The sources gave us some specific prescriptions involving Chiron and Lilith. Let's get practical.
Right. These are the keys to unlocking the cage. First, let's look at Lilith. She has Lilith and Virgo in the 4th house.
Lilith is the wild woman, right? The part of us that is suppressed or shamed. What does Lilith in Virgo mean?
Lilith in Virgo points to a deep wound regarding perfectionism. She has impossibly high standards for herself. She likely treats her own emotions, her own messiness, as interruptions to her sense of order. She feels genuine shame when she isn't perfect.
Oh, I think a lot of us know that feeling. I don't have time to have a breakdown. I have a spreadsheet to finish.
Exactly. It's the suppression of the chaotic, raw parts of herself. And because it is in the 4th house, the house of home and family, it suggests she might have felt like an emotional exile in her own family. Maybe she never quite fit the family narrative of what a good girl should be.
So what is the fix? How does she heal that Lilith placement?
The prescription is to embrace imperfection. She has to stop trying to be the perfect servant. She needs to embrace the beauty of wholeness, mind, body, and soul, and stop treating her wilder instincts as something to be controlled or managed.
And the fourth house piece.
She also needs to define home on her own terms. She has to heal that ancestral tension by actively choosing where she belongs, rather than waiting for her family to validate her.
Embrace the mess. I like that. What about Chiron, the wounded healer?
Chiron is in Aries in the 11th house. This is a wound around personal agency and belonging to the group.
Aries is the sign of I am.
Yeah,
It's pure ego.
right.
In a good way.
Yes. But with Chiron there, she has a quiet ache regarding her right to just exist. She wonders if her presence truly matters. She might overcompensate by working incredibly hard in that 6th house, hoping to prove her worth through action.
If I do enough, then I matter.
Exactly.
That loops right back to the beginning. The work is just a coping mechanism for feeling invisible.
Exactly. And the healing affirmation provided in the source is incredibly powerful for this. It says, "It is safe for me to take up space. My presence is worthy. My will is sacred."
It is safe for me to take up space.
Yeah.
That is a mantra if I've ever heard one. It's simple, but for her, it's probably terrifying.
It really is. And it connects directly back to that Saturn opposition. The ultimate solution for her blockages is to balance service with solitude. She needs to learn that being is just as powerful as doing. She has to retreat to that 12th house solitude without guilt.
That's the hard part, isn't it? Without guilt. Because remember, Saturn is sitting right there telling her she's lazy if she sits down for 5 minutes.
Right. She uses work to run away from the scary feelings in the 12th house. But if she turns around and actually faces them, if she spends time in meditation or just silence, processing that ancestral grief, she recharges. She stops being the silent sufferer and becomes the wise mentor. She has to realize the world won't fall apart if she takes a nap.
And we can't forget her superpower in all this. Mercury in Scorpio.
Yes. Trust the depth. Her intuition and penetrating insight are not flaws. They are her weapons.
She sees what others miss.
Exactly. She isn't crazy for seeing the hidden motives of others. She is highly accurate. She needs to trust that gut instinct because it is the exact tool she will use to become that Aquarian visionary.
So let's try to summarize this human being. She is a deep-diving, incredibly hardworking soul who wears a chatty, curious mask to navigate the world. She has spent her life defining herself by how useful she is to others, likely sacrificing her own emotional safety just to keep the machine running.
That is her history. But her destiny is very different. Her destiny isn't to be the mechanic. Her destiny is to be the inventor. She is here to break traditions and lead with vision. Her journey is moving from the servant who fixes everything for everyone else to the architect who designs a better world, while learning to be kind to herself in the process.
And recognizing that she doesn't have to earn the right to exist by completing a to-do list every day.
That is the hardest lesson, but definitely the most important one.
I want to leave you, the listener, and maybe the subject of this chart if she happens to be listening, with a final thought. We talked about that Chiron healing affirmation. It is safe for me to take up space.
It's the core truth she needs.
So here's something to mull over for her and for anyone who resonates with this kind of intense wiring. If you stop trying to fix everything for just one day, if you let the emails pile up and let the system creak just a little bit, would the world actually fall apart? Or would you finally find the space to see your own value, just as you are?
That is the question.
Thanks for diving too deep with us. We'll see you next time.